Hello, good morning, explorers. Wonderful day here in Fujairah, 11 o'clock in the morning, 37 degrees, so it feels quite nice, a little breeze, so I don't feel too hot today. I'm on a Segway adventure. There's the Segway waiting to whisk me up the mountain road and beyond. I'm in Hayl, which is in Fujairah. It's on the tourist trail because there's a fort up there, which we'll see. I've been through the Hayl village already, which is down the wadi, and the actual wadi is called Wadi Hayl. So I presume this river would be called Hayl, the river. There's still water in the dam behind me. It's gone a bit stagnant down there. So what will we expect on this? Right, this is a nice road from here. I'm just going to leave the truck at the dam here, and put this over my shoulder, fire up the Segway, and I'll tell you all about it on the way. Waiting for there's the reassuring sound. Wait for it to go from red to green. Where's the green? There's the green. Okay, that means we're good to go. Step on, it's self-leveling. Unbelievably easy to use. All right, so we're going to whisk our way up the valley now. Up the Hayl Wadi. Plenty of water in there. I'll just take my time coming down here to start with. Feels a bit strange. I wonder if I'm on... I'll stand back a bit maybe. Yeah, it felt a bit strange. I've ridden these Segways a lot. Let me just stop and check the watch. I'm on tortoise mode, the slowest mode. Should be all right. Maybe just tired after all my exertions last night. Going to turn it off and on again. Hope no cars come. Right, I've got it on rabbit mode now, which is significantly quicker. Makes it a bit easier to ride as well, believe it or not. Slow. Oh yeah, this is better. Right then, okay, so let's get a move on then. Let's catch up, make up for lost time. Although I'm on a public road, this is a very quiet road. I expect to see, I'm going to guesstimate now, I'm going to expect to see more donkeys than I do cars. So, back to the adventure. Let's see what we can find on our exploration up this valley. I do know that there is a fort up here. I was going to say a big fort, but it's not that big. And to be honest, although it's called a fort, it does look fortified. It only dates back to 1932. And back in 1932, they had some quite big weapons. So anybody that wanted to attack this area, the fort, when we see it in a few minutes, really, it will only take, I would suggest, 5 minutes to get there. I don't think this fort would have offered it much protection. Offered the inhabitants much protection. Hey there. There we go. So, 1-0 to the people. Come on, donkeys, where are you? There's a bit of a hill to get up as well before we see the fort, so this is going to go straight up. I can see where the road goes up right. I'm sure the camera won't catch it. The wadi is completely dry at this end above the dam. That rainfall we had a few months ago in Fujairah, a few weeks ago in Fujairah, is long since gone now. All right, so a bit of an off-road adventure here. This Segway, though, to be honest, it laughs at stones like this. There's a few goats there on the right-hand side. I'm going to stop again for two reasons. One, I've got an unbelievable itch. Ah, that's wonderful. Two, my paranoia about the camera is giving me sleepless nights. Oh, let's go forward for a little bit. Okay, so that itch is gone, but it's coming back already. I suppose that's one of the justifications for having regular showers and washing. Okay, so up the hill we go. Segway's extremely powerful. I slow down. I mean, I'm weighing 100 kilos right now. But the Segway will make little work of coming up here. Right then, so what are we going to find up this valley? Like I say, we're going to find some... There are rock carvings, there are the petroglyphs. There's several not far from the route. We won't be able to see them physically with the Segway though. But they're not too far away from the route. The Hayl Fort has been completely rebuilt, it's been restored back to its former glory. It's absolutely pristine. I was up here a few weeks ago and the fort was actually closed. The night watchman asked if I wanted to go in, but I didn't want to trouble him too much. And if I'm really being honest, I have been inside the fort. If it was closed when you got up here, I'll put this back over my shoulder. If it was closed when you got up here, you wouldn't be missing an awful lot inside. It actually looks better from the outside. And the village, there's an old village that's been restored as well. It's been done in sort of heritage style, so you get a bit of an idea of how society used to function a long time ago. And there has been people up here for a long time, dating back to the Iron Age. And there are descendants, I looked this up on the... Oh, right, so there's your first view now of Hayl Fort and the village that I just mentioned there. So what was I saying? Yeah, the descendants of the Kunud tribe first lived here. So the descendants of the Kunud tribe lived here. And they can be traced, their ancestry could be traced back to Oman and the Yemen thousands of years ago. So there's been people here for a long time. There's an archaeological site here, if I just slow down. There is an archaeological site here on the right, and there's several of these sort of brown archaeological signs that we'll see. So we're already up into... Right, it's a big hole in the ground now. I'll just go slow purely because... Oh, when you drive in, if you are coming to explore, you will have, just before Hayl village, you'll have gone over the most vicious speed bumps. There's 3 or 4 of them before you get to the village of Hayl, and there's 1 or 2 in the village of Hayl. And as I say, they're vicious. You feel like you're in the Tough Mudder, climbing over the obstacles. So let's just have a quick look here. I remember feeding a cat not long ago, so up here, I seem to all I do is feed cats. It's wonderful, really. It's lovely. There's a beautiful breeze. As I said, it's been completely restored. Well, the fort has been completely restored, and this is a partial restoration of the village. This is quite interesting. Lots of Instagram photos for you there. The fort is now closed again. Can I see an opening time on there? Yeah, I'll go and have a quick look. That should level itself. That's very clever. Right, opening times. Weekdays 8 till 1:30, 4:30 till 6:30 in the afternoon, and then on Friday 2 till 6:30 in the evening only. So it should theoretically be open, but that's locked now. Maybe it's a result of some of the damage from the rains not too long ago, or whatever the reason. So that's Hayl Fort, and there's a sort of a watchtower above it. if you were building a fort on this valley, I thought, why on earth would you? As I say, it's not particularly, let's have a look around the other side. It's not particularly fortified. If that was, let's have a look at it over my shoulder there. If that was dated back to 1932, I think I could get in there right now just jumping over the wall. So I don't think it's really for defence purposes. Maybe it's just to look nice in 1932. And there is a watchtower up there. There's some history there on the big notice boards, but I'm going to crack on a little bit further. Now then, I was first brought up here a few years ago, and this really does have its own ecosystem. You lose telephone signal not too far away from now, so make sure that you are fully self-sufficient. Make sure people know you're coming up here if indeed you're going to come up here. You can walk as well. You can come up, drive all the way nice and easy to the fort, and there's plenty of areas that you can car park. Now, I've walked all the way along this road several times, and after the rains, again, I think this road might be in a state of disrepair. When I say road, I definitely mean jeep trail. Okay, just looking up there, I don't know, once again, whether the camera will pick it up, but right on the top there, it's not that high. I would suggest that's only about 50 metres above where we are now. I'm definitely going to explore it in the future because there's a sign there, and there's an old building right on top there. I just never, for whatever the reasons, never got up there to have a look. So I'll definitely make sure I scramble up there one day and I'll take the camera. So you can walk along here. If you go straight up that valley there, that leads you over a mountain pass into the Wadi Sahim Valley, which is a fantastic walk. And once again, I'll take you on that. So make sure you subscribe to the channel. I really am exploring all the best parts of wherever I am in the world. Now, I've been up here in the daytime, I've been up here in the night time, and one of the reasons I came up here in the night was that there was a meteor shower predicted. So my wife and I came up here, and we actually parked just here, and we got the deck chairs out, and there is zero light pollution up here. You can see a few farms, but to be honest, these probably aren't even occupied. The workers will come up here in the daytime, and as I say, there's zero light pollution, so it was fantastic. You just saw the shooting stars blasting across the night sky. So if you hear of any of these meteor showers or anything that you need to see, there are plenty of other places that you can see them, but certainly Hayl and go past the fort, and there you've got an ideal opportunity. All right, so I've mountain biked up here. Whoops, a daisy. I've walked up here. I've been up here on official capacity, and I'll tell you about that in just a second. I'm just trying not to crash. These stones are quite big here. You could drive a 4x2, a normal car up here, but I'd park up more archaeological areas on the right-hand side. You can sort of make out where the houses used to be. Let's go this way. Yeah, this is definitely not quite as passable as it was, just say for instance this time last year. All right, so you could drive up here, but park up at the fort and put your hiking boots on or your trainers up here easily and go for a trek, a hike. What's that? Oh, it's a helicopter. Helicopter. Hey, I wonder if he's come to see me. I was thinking, what's going on? Right then, talking about helicopters and air travel. Right, I came up here in official capacity, I say last year, because... Oh, yeah, hang on a sec. Bloody hell. Right, segwaying with two hands is quite easy. All right, come on, right. Okay. What happened there is really all self-induced. Segways with two hands, easy, easy, easy. Segway with one hand, quite easy. However, what I didn't want to end up doing is some sort of jerky movement. And if you do get these segways wrong, they can throw you off, and they are extremely powerful. So discretion was used. I stopped and looked after myself. Right then, back to air travel and dangerous air travel. Now in 1972, unfortunately, this is a true story. Let me put this back over my shoulder here. It's easier to rest it on my shoulder. So in 1972, a flight starting in Colombo in Sri Lanka was en route via Dubai for a refuel stop, and also another stop as well, via Dubai, on its route to Copenhagen in 1972 this was, unfortunately crashed not far away from where we are here. It was on the descent into Dubai supposedly, and for whatever the reasons, pilot error, navigation error, instrument error, whatever those reasons were, it crashed. And there was a terrible, terrible loss of life. So what I'll do, I've been up there to confirm that the location is still passable for some people that had to get up here to commemorate lost family members. So I got the GPS coordinates. Just taking my time here. And followed the Garmin GPS coordinates and found the crash site. It's completely been cleared now. It's not like you're going to come up and find any fuselage or anything like that. It was actually one of the first disasters that the country was only really formed in 1972. It was one of the first disasters that the country had to deal with. They did it extremely well. They dealt with it very, very professionally. They had all the emergency services up here. They did what they had to do. And yeah, terrible story. Not from the morbid side of view, but I will take you up there, close to where the crash site was. But right. Okay, so if you carry on up there, which we will do, which we can do another day, I'm just conscious of I'm quite a long way back from the car now. But these sort of mountain trails, these access trails up to quarries, there's a big quarry now, it's stopped being used. There's a big quarry up there, and it's great fun on the segways. I've often thought about doing some sort of fitness challenge up here. It would be a brilliant idea. But these mountains are quite big, scenery is spectacular. What I'm going to do is I'm going to stop here and turn around. I mean, literally they carry on, and I don't know if I'll get it on camera. I'll turn around to do this. There is a mountain trail that goes right over the top of one of those mountains. I walked up there one time, and it's an extraordinary, extraordinary trail. And once you get to the top, you look directly across the sea, across the last bit of coast and into the sea, the Oman Sea. So I love it up here. I mean, there won't be a telephone signal now. Let me have a quick look, see if there's a telephone signal. No signal. But there's plenty of flies, so they seem to... Right, okay, I've turned for home now. Put a bit of distance between me and a couple of flies. So yeah, and also I've mountain biked up here quite a lot. If you want to do a little bit of fitness, yeah, you can do, of course. These are the Hajjar Mountains, and they're quite big. They're quite big. I'm going to say that that one directly in front of us is, considering we're more or less at sea level, Al Hayl's a little bit higher than sea level, but you know, we're on the coast, not too far. I'm going to say that that mountain in front of me now directly is 500 meters altitude. The one behind it probably tops out at seven or 800. Behind me there is 1,000 meters. So yeah, these are big inhospitable mountains. These are hot mountains. If you decide to go exploring here, make sure you're well prepared. Get yourself a Segway, that's what I'd recommend. I have got a few of these Segways. I did get them with a view to maybe starting some sort of Segway safari. So let me know if you fancy going on an adventure. Who knows what we could get organised. I wouldn't bring you straight away here. This would be like day 2. As I say, with 2 hands on the steering wheel, I wouldn't bat an eyelid about going up here. But one hand's quite different. Segways, Segway power, electric motors, Teslas. I drove a Tesla. I used to drive some celebrities around the UK. I won't mention their names, obviously discretion being my middle name. But yeah, some well-known celebrities, tennis players as well around Wimbledon time. I have got some stories, but what goes on tour stays on tour. So, back on the what's now considered a motorway compared to what I've just been. We're going to go back to Hayl Fort, back along the road, back to the truck, and I'll think of other things to talk about. These thistle trees. A few butterflies. I suppose it's a quiet time of day this now, getting on towards lunchtime, getting on for, what time is it now? 11:30. If I was an animal, I would have gone to ground by now. You do see, right now, this is where I got myself into trouble on the way up. So, look at this dexterity. Talking about the tough mudder, who needs it? Go that way there. There's quite a lot of ground clearance on these Segways, but some of these larger rocks might bash these batteries underneath. You see how my mind is thinking now? I've got Tough Mudder coming into my mind all the time. And in Fujairah, they've got all the Tough Mudder equipment stored. I presume Fujairah is going to host the first Tough Mudder in the series next year. I was injured not in the last one, but when the last one was on, I was looking forward to walking very slowly around. No way I could say I was going to attack the course. Oops. But I was injured, so I'm now looking forward to the season of Tough Mudders. Let's put this over my shoulder. And last year they had them in Dubai, didn't they? Had them in Ras Al Khaimah. I'm not sure where else they had them, but I think they travel all over the country. Right, I'm going to get a bit of a wiggle on up this slope. It's quite flat though. You can see the UAE flag there flying proudly on top of Hayl Fort. So that's going to be what we call an easterly breeze. That's coming in from the sea. I know that in the UK weather forecasting is extremely difficult, but fundamentally quite simple. I've done some mountain leaders training and you had to do weather forecasting, and it was a brilliant lecture. A brilliant lecture. The weather conditions mimic where the weather has come from. So I think there were 6 weather fronts that affect the UK as I remember it. This was a long time ago. So if the weather came from the north, over the North Sea down over Scotland, that would be a northerly. Now that is going to be cold, and because it's coming over the water, it would be cold and wet. So you get the northerly winds coming over the water, cold and wet. Just say, for instance, that they're coming from the east, they would be cold because the east is cold, but also they're coming over the land, over Europe and over Scandinavia. So what they would be traditionally is cold and dry. If they were coming from the southwest, from the West Indies, they'd be coming over water, so they'd be wet, but they'd also be warm. So the weather front hitting the southwest of the country from that way would be warm and wet. I found that very interesting. I don't know if that's the case here. All right, so let's say goodbye to Hayl Fort. Plenty of car parking. There are toilets. Yeah, there are toilets here. There's a guard room. I'm sure there's toilets here. Hello, sir. Are there toilets here? Do you have toilets? Oh, okay, superstar. Thank you. Thank you. Absolutely. So there are toilets. I'm now looking at them, and there's a big toilet block, obviously. Thank you. Bye now. And I'm going to blast back up the main road. I've seen one person. I've seen 2 people now. The guard and the guy on the moped earlier. I need to see at least 3 donkeys for me to win my challenge. Plenty of fertileness, greenness down in the valley. And these are farms down there. This is not like right now let's decide to grow something. These have probably been here for hundreds of years growing things. I will try one day to go and I've been invited into farms numerous times, and to be honest, that was back in my heathen days where I'd just be thinking, I don't know what I'd be thinking, but I might ask questions like, what is this? There's plenty of fruit in these farms, I know that, but I might ask a little bit more. What an absolutely glorious day. I'm telling you, this is fantastic. I am truly blessed. I know when people are lucky and when they're not lucky, and I know you make your own luck, but some people don't have the opportunity to make their luck. I was given plenty of opportunity, and I think I did pretty well with those opportunities. And now look at me, I'm on a Segway in the Hayl Valley, loving it. And on the right-hand side there, let's swing this round here so you should be able to see me. Oh, sorry, the right. The other right, I meant. What you would call as left, the other right. Down there are some big, I mean, this is almost like a landscape garden. There's terraces in there. I bet that's lovely. Let's move right over to the side. There's a swimming pool inside there. Oh yeah. It's like a little lagoon, an oasis down there. Very nice, I dare say. Now these segways are self-leveling. These aren't like the little, I don't know where they're made, but I'm going to just generalise and say the Chinese ones that you can buy on Amazon for $29 now, and you get on them and you suddenly become a YouTube star because you end up falling over because all they are is a pair of wheels, and you've got to have tremendous balance. And whilst it's easy to learn, it takes time to learn. These, you literally, within 5 minutes of a lesson, I mean, I'll give you a proper lesson, a bit more than that, but within a couple of minutes, you'd be confident to go because they're self-leveling. I mean, when I get on the flat, I'll show you what I mean. But when you're going down at pace, what they do, they kind of, the arm, which you can't see here, I'll show you here, this arm that you can see here comes back towards me, so pushes into, I can't push it into normally because it's leveling automatically, but if I go fast, it pushes into me. If I go down a steep slope, it pushes into me. If I go up a steep slope, it pushes into me. And it just, I suppose, it tells me to be careful. It's very, very clever. Now the company is actually closed because they made the Segways too well. If you keep these batteries well charged, which is not difficult, you plug them into the electricity, that's all you have to do, they last forever. That's what I've been told, and unfortunately we didn't plug ours into the electric, and some of the batteries died, but I got some replacement batteries, which are expensive. So I'm looking forward to getting many years of exciting exploring use out of them. Segways, and this is the X2, so it's the off-road version. Yeah, don't confuse these with $29 on Amazon. These are at full price, they're $7,000 or $8,000 per Segway. And you can see why. They are brilliant. So, come on, 3 donkeys. Oh, come on, can you see him? Can you see him? There's an Indian roller right in front of me now. They are absolutely beautiful. There's a hiking trail across there. Oh yeah. Wind's just picked up. So look here at the end of the, at the head of the water that is the reservoir by the dam. There is a hiking trail that goes up to that little heritage area. Maybe what I'll do is I'll come and explore the peak that I mentioned earlier and that one in the same video. So I'm back now. Back now at the truck. As I'm enjoying life so much, what I'm going to do, I'm going to go down the other side and we'll see if there's any water in the stream down the other side. This looks... Oh! Now I didn't know that. Isn't that interesting? So I'm going to go slow. And if I go like that, you'll see what I'm talking about. So I've seen 2 people and 1 donkey. He's looking at me very strange. And normally, if there's 1 donkey, there's normally 2 or 3. I think this one's on his own now. Hello. Hello there. Oh, what a shame. Why isn't there a lovely donkey sanctuary for you? And I've just seen, he's actually a little bit of, he's a young one, he's an adolescent. But then over my shoulder here, I've just seen a baby one. So that's 2. 2 people, 2 donkeys. Oh, hey. Don't run, it's okay. And there's an older one. 3 donkeys. Hello. Is this your baby? Is this your baby? She's very beautiful. Yeah, hello. Let's just say you two are very, very nice. So that's mummy, that's baby, and this must be either brother or daddy. Are there any more? That's 1, 2, 3. I feel like I want to go and find another donkey. But this is the reason I came down, to see if there was any water in the wadi. And there is. As I said earlier, it's got a little bit stagnant. I wouldn't necessarily say drinking that is a good idea. This is somebody's property here, so I won't go up there. The little baby's gone behind mum, just for that protection. But at least they've got plenty of water. And these are wild donkeys. I'll let them be. I think this donkey's just gone to the toilet. This sound will probably scare him off. Let's go slow. The sound is actually just the tyres on the ground. See you now. So, okay guys, that's a wrap. Really enjoyed this little bit of adventure. The English explorer up in the Hayl Valley, seeing the fort, seeing the donkeys, going close to that crush site I mentioned, seeing the reservoir, finding other places to explore in the future on the Segway. Best time of day to come up here. To be honest, if you're going hiking, come in the afternoon, come in early in the morning. There are toilets. Last shops are in the Hayl. Let's say the last shops really are in Fujairah. If you're going to get any supplies, make sure you tell someone you're coming up here, because as I say, you lose the telephone signal. Yeah, come up here and have an explore, but don't get lost. Let me know in the comments what you think of it. I will reply back to you all, and I look forward to seeing you on the next exploring. Bye now.